Evening everyone, we're here tonight and we're going to be talking to Leeds United star Kalvin Phillips, so hopefully you can all join us. Looking forward to this one. I think he's a fantastic player and I'm sure all the Leeds fans will agree. So we'll just give it 2 minutes, let him request to join, show your love for him. Had a fantastic one last Monday with Elland as well, so maybe he's got a little bit of dirt on Elland for us. I think the teams are back in training now as well, so just give us a sec, wait for him to join. Fantastic player, yeah. So if you want to get some messages in as well, I'll try and get as many questions answered as I can. Obviously we do have a theme of the night, which is the Academy to Pro theme. A few people trying to request. Let's just give it 2 minutes. Click the 2 smiley faces down at the bottom. Kalvin, I'll try it. On the bottom bar. Hopefully that'll be alright connection wise. There we go.
Hey mate, alright?
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, all good mate, yeah, all good.
Enjoying the sunshine?
Yeah, just been playing a bit of golf, yeah.
Yeah. Back in training now as well?
Yeah, it was his first proper day today with a few of the lads. We're training in groups now, so last week we was doing individual training
Double
sessions.
pre-season?
Yeah, feels like it.
Oh, yeah, nightmare for you. No, I really appreciate you coming on, Kalvin. Obviously, the centres that we run, certainly around West Yorkshire anyway, we've got a lot of Leeds United fans, but you know, certainly all the other kids that we've had joining the live sessions around the country. Yeah. You're someone that I think you've had, so far you're having a fantastic career, and I think not only that, I think one thing from you to my attention is the way you go about things off the field as well. So the whole point of this tonight is to give kids, parents, coaches an insight into you and how you got brought up in the football world, but also just ask a few questions regarding yourself on how you feel your career is going as well. So really excited for this one, mate, to be honest with you. So we'll get started if you're okay with that. So where your grassroots to kind of academy, how did that come about? Where did you start and how did you get picked
up?
Sound.
I didn't really start playing football till I was I didn't really start training for a proper team till I was about 7 or 8. I was playing at school, and then I had a couple of friends from school who played for a team called Whateley Juniors, Whateley Boys.
Yeah.
And we used to play at school, and then his dad just asked my mum and said, "Listen, I took the twins to football. Do you want me to take Kalvin?" And my mum said, "Yeah, that's fine." And I've never really looked back from there. Obviously, me and my brothers.
Are the twins still playing?
What's that? Sorry.
Are the twins still playing? Your friends still playing as well?
No, I don't think so. I think one of them might do, but I'm not sure about the other. So.
Right. Okay. So it was
from
Whateley Juniors you started off at.
Say that again, sorry.
Yeah, so it was Whateley Juniors you started off at, and then you moved on from there to Leeds, was it?
Yeah, well, I went to Forza for like 3 months, and then went to Leeds.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, what age were you when you went to Leeds then?
14, I think I got signed from Leeds to Leeds.
So again, that's kind of a similar well, not a similar path to Luke Ayling, but certainly, again, myself, when I got into professional football around the age of 16, I got picked up. So, at what point, were there ever any doubts in your mind, or were the thoughts of, were you even thinking about playing professional football?
I don't think until I actually went to, well, I went on a trial to Huddersfield before I went to Leeds. I was 13 at the time, and I didn't really like it there. It was just, it wasn't anything to do with the club or whatever. I went there and didn't really enjoy it, and I said to my mum I didn't really fancy going back, and then luckily I got scouted in a game for Wortley Boys by a scout called Sonny Sweeney.
Yeah, I know Sonny, yeah. Scottish guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
And go on.
So when you weren't really having any thoughts of, will I make it, will I not make it? Because again, a lot of the conversations we've had with the pros that have come on, it's a lot around mindset. And obviously last week was there was a lot of talk around mental health week and things like that. But did you feel any pressure at that age to try and get into an academy, or were you not really fussed?
No, I think at the time I was just enjoying football. I wasn't really, pressuring myself to try and get to a club or, push for something that maybe wasn't going to happen. I just enjoy my football. I'm quite a relaxed guy, so I was just relaxed about it. And, luckily, like I said, Sonny Sweeney, I caught Sonny Sweeney's eye, and then he brought me to Leeds United.
Right. Yeah. So 14 years of age, get to the academy. Was it an eye opener for you, or was it like, again? I mean, football. Certainly, I played my best football when I was enjoying it, and you alluded to that fact a minute ago regarding just enjoying your football, really. So I'd imagine when you went in there at that time, you've gone in and you've just gone, "Well, fuss about, I'm here. I'll play football. I don't mind."
Yeah. What he did, it just felt normal. It just felt like, I think there were a couple of players in my age group at the time that were doing really well, and I was thinking, well, I've just come to the club, but I believe that I was good as them, and I was just focused on just going in there because I got the opportunity to play for Leeds United. I was just focused on going in there and just doing my best every day, and that's what I did. And, from there I've not really looked back. I've not really stopped doing my best, so just carrying on doing that.
So with regards to when you got into the academy, 16, was there any talk at that age? Did I know a lot of the top clubs now, they offer, say, 1 year YTS or scholarship, whatever it is, 2 year pro, whatever it is, or was it just straight up 2 years scholarship?
I think the first year that I signed, I think it was a 1 year. It was like I signed a scholarship when I was 16, and that was for 2 years. And then my first actual professional contract was only for 1 year. There was a lot of confusion. I think there was a lot of confusion at the club though about what was going on with everything above. So I don't think Leeds were they weren't prepared to make a better deal than that. And obviously I understood that, and I took it straight away. I was never gonna think, oh well, I'm not gonna take this because it's a chance of a lifetime to obviously play for my hometown club. So I'm never gonna decline or anything like that.
Yeah. So you go into the scholarship program, 16 years of age. I remember when I did my YTS, it was a lot of running.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a lot of running, a lot of cleaning boots and balls. Has it changed much?
No, it's not, to be fair. I think now that I'm, kind of a seasoned pro now, I look at some of the jobs that the lads do in my boots, and I think, well, is he cleaned them today? Because I can remember I was cleaning Michael Brown's boots. When
Brownie was harsh on you as well.
It was very harsh. Every day if he spotted one speckle of mud on it, he'd come upstairs where we were all sat, and he'd pull me in front of all the lads and say, "You're gonna get downstairs and clean my boots," and then I'd have to go downstairs and clean his boots. But to be fair, he was a good guy, Brownie, because he obviously he wanted me to clean his boots all the time, but it was quite rewarding as well at Christmas and that. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing, really.
I said that to Luke Ayling on Monday, but I don't think they're paying the Arsenal players that well, because he said he didn't really live for the money at Christmas. But when you're a YT, I think you live for that bonus, don't you, for cleaning boots?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, when a first team player offers you money to do something, you kind of just starstruck and you're like, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to get a bit of money. So
yeah. So that side of it, then you're cleaning Michael Brown's boots, and I know it sounds silly, but for those at home, do you feel things like that made you a better player, or appreciated you bringing up?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think, you know, just like being in contact with some of the first team players at the time, you know, it kind of, you know, obviously you were starstruck, but then you were thinking, like, I want to be in that position when I'm older. And then obviously now I'm in that position whenever, you know, a lad's cleaning my boots, like, I know how to react, I know how to, you know, say you need to do your job, and I know how to be like, you know, if he's done a good job, I know how to reward him. So
yeah,
I think, you know, the big thing with me with that is just to recognise that, you know, there's young lads. I was a young lad, and there's young lads coming through now that, you know, obviously, you know, they're working hard every day and they want a bit of reward. So I try and reward them as much as possible.
Because I mean, you know, a lot of the feedback and the things that I think we see in the press as well is that certainly you're an approachable guy. You know, everyone can. You'll say hi to everyone. You'll sign autographs. You know, certainly with young lads as well. I'd imagine it's important, especially the way, you know, what Luke was saying the other day. The young lads work quite closely with you as well. But how is it difficult to get that line of? I'll have a bit of banter with you, young lad, and then kind of, listen, you need to pull your socks up here because we've got a game to win on Saturday, and I need you to be testing me.
Yeah, definitely. I think you know, there is times where you can have banter and that, but I think the most important thing, obviously, is to keep them on the toes and make sure they're ready for whatever comes. And, you know, as when I was just coming through, you know, I had the likes of Stephen Warnock, Michael Brown, Steve Morrison. They was all in the first team, and if I ever did anything wrong, they'd be the first ones to tell me straight away. So I think, you know, in that sense, you know, I had good pros in the team, you know, to show me and kind of show me the ropes of how to, you know, just to make the young lads feel and how to help them and how to, you know, if they need a telling off, then, you know, try and tell them off. But I'm not really a guy to tell people off, so. Yeah.
Well, listen, everyone needs it every now and again, don't they? But it might just be smashing him in a tackle, let them know that way. So just moving it on then. So you got into the academy. At what point did you start catching the eye of the first team manager? Who was the manager at the time as well?
Well, there was quite a few managers at that time. It was in the period where we had like 5 managers in the space of 3 seasons.
Right.
So it was quite hard to actually, you know, make that step up.
Yeah.
But I think I can remember the first time I really spoke to a first team manager was Brian McDermott, when Brian McDermott was in charge.
Yeah.
I'd been playing for the under-18s, I'd been playing for the 23s and doing real well. And he pulled me just after a random training session. He asked me a question of what do you think the ratio is to score a goal in a game? And I obviously, being me, I just said 2-1, you know, 50-50 chance. And he was like, nah, you need 5 shots to score at least 1 goal. So that was my first real conversation. He said, if you can do that for me throughout the remainder of the season, then you'll have a very good opportunity of getting into the first team.
Yeah.
And then after that, I don't think I scored since. So.
Right. So that convo went well then.
Yeah.
Right. And he moved on.
Yeah.
You're still trying to have 5 shots a game, and everyone's like, oh, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you made your debut, and am I right in thinking you scored on your debut?
I scored on my home debut. My debut was on the game before.
Right. So your home debut, I mean, you're growing up in Leeds.
Yeah.
You dream of playing for Leeds, dream of playing at Elland Road, and you score a goal on your debut. What does that mean to you? Obviously, a lot of people watching in terms of that, but it must have been unbelievable.
Yeah, it was mad. I'm just getting goosebumps now as you're saying it. It was mad. It was just, I can't really remember exactly what happened, but the goal, it was just a weird goal. It was real windy the day, and it was the day we played Cardiff, and
I've seen the goal.
Yeah, they weren't allowed fans in the stadium, so it was quite quiet, and I think Charlie Taylor crossed the ball in, and it was real windy, and then all of a sudden it just dropped to my left foot, and I just tapped it in.
Yeah.
Then,
to be fair, I think you're doing yourself a disjustice there, because I've watched it, right? Because I've always been doing my background research, and to be fair, you've had to take it on the half volley, mate.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as easy as what you thought, because it was a good finish, I thought.
Well.
And was it a 1-in-1 ratio for McDermott as well?
Yeah, it was a 1-in-1 that. It was a 1-in-1 ratio, yeah.
Brilliant. So moving that forward then, how many games did you play that season?
I think I only played. I think 3 or 4 maybe.
Right.
It was towards the end of the season I remember my debut, and I think, we was in a position where we didn't really have much to lose and we didn't really have much to gain. So
yeah,
Brian McDermott won the manager that was in charge at the time. It was Neil Redfern. So Brian McDermott had just been relieved. A couple of weeks before Neil Redfern was in charge, and I've grown up with Neil. He's he trained me from when I was 15, 16. So
yeah,
I think he had a lot of confidence in me, playing me and starting me. So it was just from there, and I think I played 4 games that season, and then got another pro contract after that.
So just on that side of it, and Neil Redfern, I mean, you talk about mentors in a game, you talk about people that influence you as you're growing up. Who do you feel has done that for you so far in your career, that you look back and obviously you mentioned Sonny before, but you get to the academy, someone that you think, because I when I was younger, it was my youth team manager. I always felt, and I still speak to him to this day, I can go and speak, I always felt I could, even when things weren't great or you needed a bit of advice, you need somebody, I believe, in football that you can go and speak to. Is there anyone that you speak to yourself regarding that?
There were quite a few coaches and stuff that I really liked and I really enjoyed my time under. But I've got to say it was, Richard Naylor, Lee Bromby and Neil Redfern. I just think because at the time when I was at the club, just before I'd signed my pro contract, there were, obviously all the stuff above the club, above the youth team that was going on about the managers and stuff. And they just they made us enjoy it. And, no matter what were going on above us, they just said, enjoy football. If you work hard, you'll get the results. And, I'll never forget that, because I think it was Richard Naylor who was telling me that. Yeah, he's a great guy, and he was the one person that I thought really believed in me. When I was playing, younger age football, and he gave me a lot of opportunities, and it was the same with Lee Bromby and Neil Redfern. I think it just passed them through that.
I mean, I played against Broms quite a bit. He wouldn't be too happy if I told him how he did against me, but he's a good lad, Broms. Really, really top guy, and I think he's one of them for me that you can tell that he's a people person, and I think all the people you've mentioned there are a people person. Do you feel that that kind of rubs off in the way you deal with people as well, growing up?
Yeah, definitely. I think just being around them, and all 3 of them have had really, really good careers. They've come to coach a younger team, and just them passing on their knowledge to us, and telling us about some of the times where it wasn't going so well for them and what they did, and it just really helps. Not just me, but everyone in the group, and we had a good youth team when we was younger, and they're all doing really well now as well still.
Well, we'll start taking a couple of questions in a minute, but I'm not happy with one that's just been put on there. Someone's just said, I thought Kalvin Phillips was having a Q&A with David De Gea then, whoever's put that. Cheeky. So kind of in terms of your play then, because you mentioned there, Brian McDermott was trying to get you further forward. I'm assuming to get more goals. What sort of impact has Bielsa had on you now in terms of your game? Because I was looking over, you might have saw the highlight reel that I put out the other day, and I remember playing at Elland Road when Fabian Delph were coming through. I think he was only about 13 when he were playing in first team, something like that. He was, but if ever I could kind of, you know, and I don't think I'll be proved wrong on this, but he was a top player there. But I'm looking at you, I'm looking at your pathway currently, and the way that you're playing, and I do genuinely believe that you'll be playing in the Premier League with Leeds, hopefully next season, or, you know, whether it's with Leeds, with somebody else. I think your style of play, how you've grown into that position, you must be excited about the future for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. You know, obviously there's a lot of speculation. We'll probably leave that to a later date. But yeah, obviously, you know, I think the manager that's come in, obviously, is a world-class manager. His coaching staff are unbelievable. And, you know, just the lads that I've got around me, they help me, you know, learn every day. And, you know, I was saying then about, you know, having players in the team that, you know, tell you off and stuff like that. I've got, you know, a good 4 or 5 people in the team that if I was ever doing anything wrong, they'd make sure they'd let me know.
Luke will have a moan up, won't he? Luke will definitely have a moan up.
Yeah, Luke loves a moan. Luke loves a moan. But yeah, I think, you know, from it was just, I don't know. It was...
So I'll try and help you out with this, because I've watched previous videos, and I think I saw you getting forward a lot more in the past. But now look at your game, and I played. The Leeds fans won't like me for this, but I played against the great that is Paul Scholes. In my opinion, one of the greatest midfielders ever. And the way that you're zinging passes about, and the way that you're playing the game, it looks effortless. At what point? I mean, you might say it's always been there, Andy, but at what point do you feel now? And I'm not saying you've cracked it, because I know your mindset won't be that. You'll want to go out and win every game and better yourself. But at what point did you think, you know, I can start picking it up there and zinging dives? Because I'm looking at some of them dives, I'm thinking I'd love to be on the end of them.
Yeah,
you know, people like that. You know, you range your passing, short, long, knowing when to go long, knowing when to go short, knowing when to drop in and get on it. You know, that doesn't just happen overnight. Is that something that you've had to work very, very hard at?
Yeah, I think one of the first things was when, you know, the manager came in and he said to me, I just scored, I think the season before, I scored 7 goals and got 3 or 4 assists. And, you know, I thought I did reasonably well for a midfielder, you know, quite a young midfielder. When he came in, he said that he was going to play me a centre defensive mid. I was like, hang on a minute, like I've scored one of the most goals, you know, in the one midfielder with the most goals in the team.
Yeah.
And obviously
you've got a 1 in 5 ratio. Tell him.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I was, you know, I was never going to say no. Obviously, he looks like a manager you don't really want to upset. And I just went with it, and you know, obviously he taught me how, he was telling me how he wanted me to play and what he wanted me to do. First of all, he wanted me to lose weight. He wanted me to, you know, learn how to play centre back as well as playing centre defensive mid. But I think the main thing of, you know, my improvements and, you know, my progression is the manager and just the coaching staff.
Yeah. You mentioned something there, what Luke said Monday as well, and I think that's really, really important in today's game is diet, losing weight, and you know, I know it's, you know, you're not allowed to carb up, are you, till the night before or the day of the game, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that something that's even entered your brain before this, you know, before he came over?
No, never. You know, I just thought, you know, because we run so much and we do so much football, you can just eat what you want.
Yeah.
But knowing now, like seeing some of the results that, you know, not just me, but the whole team have got. You know, you've got players that, I was speaking to Liam and he was saying like he never thought he'd feel as fit as what he has done this last 2 seasons, because just the way he's been working and the way, the manager's
Yeah.
so strict on the diet and losing weight, and we're actually proper athletes. Like before, we was athletes and we could play 90 minutes, but it's about playing 90 minutes every week, 2 times a week.
Recover
getting good results. Recovering to play the next game. So, I think that's one of the main things. And as I said, it's helped the full team and not just me.
Yeah. So Marcelo's come in and he's brought his staff with him, and how has that kind of impacted your outlook on football and the way that you see football now? Because certainly for me, I watch the way that he sets up, and I watch the way that Guardiola sets up all these top managers, and it seems so intricate, the detail that goes into stuff. Is it coaching that you thought you'd never get? Is it coaching that you thought, didn't even know we could do that? Didn't even know that session could be enjoyable?
Yeah, it's definitely, but a mixture of them things. I think the first thing is just the attention to detail that the manager has. If every game, we'll go out and win a game 3-0, and we'll have probably an hour meeting, 2-hour meeting the next few days over the game, and he won't tell us anything that we've done right. He'll tell us what we've done wrong and what we need to do to improve it. And he's just I don't know, he don't accept failure. And I think the way that he coaches and the way that he makes his train, you can see that, and you can see that how much we've improved as a team and individually. And I think because he's such a well-respected manager, and because he's a massive manager in the game, you don't want to disappoint him, and you don't want to upset him. It's like I was saying to quite a few people, he's like a granddad, because you'll do anything for him, and then if you do it wrong, you kind of feel bad, and you don't want to do anything wrong. So it's a little bit like that.
So he's so Bielsa's a granddad then.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Brilliant. No, well, I mean, I don't know if you've watched all these documentaries on sports and that, but obviously that The Last Dance is out at the minute regarding Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls and that, and I think you look at their coach there, and like you just said there, they do anything for him. Your Fergusons, Guardiolas, these types of managers, they do anything for him. So, it's probably a testament to him in his career that he's had, that he's now got. It's not, I'm assuming he speaks little. Does he speak little English, or is it good English, or?
I think he doesn't speak much English, but I think he can speak, but he can speak really good. He just don't like to.
Yeah. So how's that then? How do you overcome that? Is it just football's a global language? You get on with it?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously we have translators and stuff like that, but I think the way he coaches he has his staff that put in individual meetings. We have video meetings. We have quite a few of them can speak in good English as well. So whenever we need to know anything, nobody wants to tell us, and if they don't tell us, then the manager will make sure that we do know it.
So we'll take a couple of questions if people want to start putting a few in. Please ask Kalvin. Here's one straight away. So we'll ask. Please ask Kalvin, who was his footy idol growing up?
It's an hard one. That I'd probably say Ronaldinho or Zidane.
Yeah, Ronaldinho.
Just simply because the way that he played football, he was just in the park. He was playing it with such enjoyment, and so free flowing that it just attracts you as when you're spectating him, it just attracts you, and he's a player that obviously I'd absolutely love to be like him, but you don't get many people like Ronaldinho anymore. So
unbelievable player. Here's another one. What do you normally do in the situation when you receive the ball from your defender and there is someone behind you, but you used to turn, but now you just pass it straight back? So they're on about the style of play there, I think.
Obviously, you know when you can go forward and when you can go back. I think, just being able to check your shoulders every time you think that the ball's going to come to you, just to know your awareness, people around you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Your positional sense as well. It's a massive thing, and if you know what position what position you are, and what position the other team players are, then it's a lot easier for you to get in different spaces and pass the ball. So
great answer. For all those kids out there, check your shoulders when you come out the house every day. Mason, what would you say is the most important things young players should work on?
Just to never give up, really. Never let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. I've had quite a few people tell me that I'd never be a footballer, and my high school teacher was saying that he didn't want to let me go out on day release because he said that not many people make it, as a footballer. But obviously, I showed him that some people can do it, and I've probably
has he been in touch since?
I've seen him once. I think I've seen him once before, and he was
awkward.
You know what? He was like my best friend then. So
I
kind of just let it go. I kind of just let it slide. So
right, okay. Couple of so in fact, what I'll pick up on there, that's a good one actually to kind of tie us into. So you said there that don't give up, and you're almost coming from the point in believing yourself for these young kids that are coming through. When do you think? I mean, when did you start to kind of believe in yourself on that side of it? Because obviously speaking with Luke the other day and the other pros, even Ian Hart, who was on the other day as well, about the you kind of building your mindset and your football toolbox, and I did, Luke did, Ian Hart, and all these other people. They kind of went through a little bit of suffering to have to then go, well, that ain't happening to me again. I'm in charge of me. And how big is that for kids to understand, do you feel?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think, when I was young, I had, quite a few, clubs come in, spoke to my mum, spoke to my parents, spoke to my coaches. And, it never really happened. And I was thinking, like, is it ever going to happen? Am I ever going to, but then I just got to a point where I just thought, if it is going to happen, it's going to happen. So just don't stress yourself over it, because you're gonna put yourself in a worse position, worrying about other things than what you are. Just focus on just enjoying yourself and playing football, and I think
so. Enjoyment then is a key factor then for you. You can
I think it's massive. I think it's massive for me, definitely, because obviously I was late going into academies and stuff like that, and I think the time that I had to play with my mates and in Sunday League, where it wasn't. You want constantly under pressure to always perform well and always impress, coaches above.
Yeah.
I think that was massive for me, and I think, it's probably one of the reasons why, now when I go into training or go into a team, like I go into the first team, just constantly just enjoy it. Just make sure you're enjoying it, because if you don't enjoy it, then you're not gonna like doing it. So
So enjoyment's a key then. Like that, love it. Keep that with you. So another one, how much extra training do you do away from the training ground?
It depends really. There's some weeks where, I'm in the process of getting a gym built in my house. So before this, I'd either stay back, good half an hour, 45 minutes after training and work on some stuff, or I'd go into the gym, do some upper body, some core programs. But like I say, whenever you get a chance, really, you've got to take the chance to, just to practice stuff and just make sure you're doing it right, and don't let other people influence you on what you're going to do. It's for yourself. It's not for nobody else. So, is
it interesting for you then when you see? Have you watched the Ronaldo documentary?
Yeah.
Is it interesting for you to see? And I know he's an absolute freak, but how hard he actually works, not just at training but away from training. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, you watch that and you think straight afterwards, you think, well, I want to be like that, and then you'll think, oh, I'm going to go in the gym tonight, and it's just the dedication he has to, just to make his body like his body is a temple really, and to make
Yeah.
him be in the best shape possible, and just to go out and train well and do stuff like that, I think it's massive. And obviously I'm still trying to learn that right now. I still try to get in the gym all the time, and but I think sometimes you got to enjoy yourself, but you got to enjoy yourself at the right time. So
I mean, even with the Michael Jordan one as well, even back in that day, he had his own personal trainer, and I think a lot of the pros are going down that route now as well, which is just to get that little bit extra out of them. I think that's a big thing in football now, certainly for the players that are at the top level. I remember when Igalo came over, he was working with a personal trainer as well. So you've got to work hard away from the game. But what is your schedule like at Leeds? Is it quite a tough schedule?
Yeah, I think it is. I think we're one of the teams in Championship that trains for probably the longest amount of time. We'll come in. I'd say we're coming at about 9 o'clock in the morning. We have breakfast. Then we're in the gym, in the physio, doing everything we need to start training. And then before training, we'll do a video session, about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. And
then we'll go out, train for... It depends, really. It depends what we're doing. If it's a Friday before a game, it's kind of eased down. But during the week and on a Wednesday, it's probably... A Wednesday is the toughest session I've ever done. We do a murder ball, it's called. We call it murder ball.
Yeah.
It's just 11v11, and if the ball goes out the pitch, the coaches are throwing another ball in straight away. So
you're straight onto it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the sessions that's the hardest, but the team mostly enjoys it because we know that it's working as hard, and we're suffering and going through pain, and
Superb. We've got another question for you. Louis Anderson, I think he's a big fan of yours. He says, were you always a midfielder?
Yeah, I think
tell me you're a striker. Everyone's always a striker. And then, like Luke was telling us he was a striker on...
Luke's never been a striker.
But to be fair, he was Van Persie-esque on that goal against Huddersfield.
Yeah, he was too. I'll give it to him. I'll give that to him. Yeah. I think I was more of like a attacking midfielder. I could play striker. I could play, attacking midfield. When I was young, this is, Sunday League. And then when I got into the academy, I kind of changed it to like a box-to-box.
Yeah.
And then I can remember one season with Paul Akinbottom. I kind of played everywhere. I played 4, played 8, and then I played 10. So I knew that I could, if I got the right coaching and I put in the right work, that I could probably play anywhere in midfield. But I think with a manager coming in and telling me that he thinks that I'm going to be a good player in that position, then I was never going to say no. And I think, me just believing in him, knowing that, he's coached such big players and, he's been in charge of such big teams that have done so well. I just agreed to it, and obviously, it's worked out better for me.
Yeah. Here's a good question. You can win any cup in the world, what would it be?
It'd be. I think it's got to be either Premier League or Champions League. I think.
Right.
Obviously, with Leeds United, I'd love to win the Premier League with Leeds United if we ever got the chance.
Yeah.
And obviously, if we were doing well with Leeds United and got into the Champions League, I can remember, the days years ago when, Leeds were flying high.
Yeah.
And doing well. It'd be massive for me as a person and, this city, because this city, I think this city needs it.
What will it mean to you to get the club back to the Premier League?
It'd be unbelievable. I've had, so many people ask me this question. You can't really put it on one thing. You can't really say, one thing that it's gonna, because my family are invested in, in the city of Leeds and the club, and me as a person, I'm invested in it. I love the club, and for me to take them back to the Premier League, it'd just be massive for me. So
so the years you supported them then, that you can remember, would they have been League One, Championship years where, you you sat there and you're thinking, no, this is a huge club. This, I mean, like I said, I played at Elland Road 3 or 4 times, and it's been a packed house week in. You know, every time we played there, and very tough place to go. Do you feel the pressure playing in front of so many people, or is it something you don't really think about?
I think when I first made the step up, I think, you know, the pressure, it's hard to deal with sometimes, especially if the team's not doing so well and it's mid-table and dropping off, you know, into the bottom half of the league. You know, it's quite hard, but, you know, the Leeds fans are demanding, and so they should be, because, you know, we were such a big club, and before, obviously, I came in, and, you know, they've been doing so well for so many years, but, you know, they've been starved of that for quite a few years now, and, you know, I think over the last 2-3 years, you can really see how much, you know, the team's changed because of how the fans are, and, you know, when the team's doing well, you know, the fans love it, and, you know, so do we. So do we. You know, we can't think of what better than going out, you know, on the Saturday or on the Tuesday night, you know, with 35,000, you know, fans there cheering us on. So,
I mean, you know, the attendances that you get are phenomenal, really, and certainly I believe, you know, the Premier League will be a lot better place with a team like Leeds in it as well. So, I think, you know, for yourselves, you're back in training today. You know, has there been any indication when it's going to start back up, or, you know, because that must be difficult mentally at the minute. You know, you're trying to train, you're in such a great position, and you're waiting on the governing bodies to pull the finger out and kind of say, look, this is when you're going to get going again, because you're so close at the minute. And I know this. Listen, I know the Championship's a tough league, and anything could happen. But, you know, how is it mentally at the minute to be able to deal with that?
I think the only thing that's really keeping us going is that we are doing so well, and, you know, we are, you know, top of the league, and, you know, I think, you know, we went through the mistake of taking that for granted last year, and I think, you know, the lads as a group, we know that we can't take it for granted this year, and we know that we have to put everything into it, and, you know, even if it means us, you know, training throughout, you know, this pandemic that's going on, then so be it. You know, we know how much we need to sacrifice to get the rewards, and, you know, we'll hopefully soon can.
So the last 2 months, every night you've gone to bed dreaming of winning the league and be back in the Premier League then?
Yeah, definitely. I think the main thing is, you know, just getting back into football. You know, you kind of miss it after a bit. You know, I think after a week of me not being at football, I'm sick of it. Then I just want to go back to footy and just, you know, just be training and just be around the lads really. And you know, I think it's good now that we're all back in together, near enough. You know, we're all seeing each other from obviously the 2 metre distance or whatever. But it's good to be around the place and good to be back. So
so we'll take a couple of quick fire questions. Who's the funniest in the dressing room? That's the first one.
They've got a couple to be fair. I think we've got Luke Haley, and he's funny.
He's not funny at all.
He is.
He's not funny.
He is quite funny. We've got Alioski, who's he's like a 13-year-old trapped in a 28-year-old's body. He's just really childish, but comes off as funny. And it's probably Elland as well, the French keeper.
Right.
He's funny, but he doesn't know it, so he just passes off as being him, but he's just hilarious.
Here's one for you. HM Wills 96. He says, "Is Pablo the best player you've ever played with?" Yeah,
hands down. I think even now, when he's 35 years old, you know, he's probably fitter than me at 35 and what I am now at 24. He's just ridiculous, and, you know, even, you know, training wise as well, you know, there's some things that he does in training where you just think, how has he done it? How is that to do it? And
super,
you know,
talent.
He's a great player.
Where is that one there? This might be. I don't know if you can answer this one. Who's been the worst manager to play under and why? So you just didn't enjoy their style, probably. Nothing too harsh, but good question.
Probably I'd probably say Steve Evans. Just at
He's
the
a
time,
nightmare anyway. Wow.
Just at the time, I was in and out of the team. It wasn't a nice time for me to be, just to be in and out. It wasn't a nice place to be at because we weren't really challenging for anything. We weren't really doing much, and there was all this saga going on where, the massive Chileno and all that. I just think, obviously, I think, we kind of liked each other, as people, but I think, he was just promising me stuff that he couldn't really guarantee, and I think I might have took it a bit too hard, but he wasn't anything, he'd say that I'd start in the game, and then, we'd walk in the changing room before the game, and I wouldn't even be on the bench, so, we just little things like that.
Here's a good one from Josh Mahu. He says, "Who's the best captain you've had?" I think that's a good question.
Yeah,
because he's got to say, is it Cooper who's the captain now?
Yeah.
But to be fair, is it Luke Ayling standing? You think he's better than Cooper when he stands in for you?
I don't know really. I think they're both good captains, but Luke's a bit more. I can't really take him serious sometimes just because of how funny he is.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna have to go Coops. I just think, he's a sensible guy. He's he's a great captain. He's a great leader. He's a good person as well as a good footballer. So
superb. Here's a good one for you. I think it's Dwayne Parchment. He says, "What personal ambitions do you have as a player?"
Get Leeds.
Yeah, Kamaru's just come on actually, and he said, "Isn't your Wi-Fi working at home?"
Is that what he said?
Yeah, so he's just battered you there. So have you got a comeback for him?
No, that's it.
There you go then. What are your personal ambitions as a player?
Get Leeds promoted. Obviously, hopefully this season. Kind of get Leeds back to, being a big club in the Premier League, and hopefully make, an England appearance.
Superb. Abby LUFC, she said, "Did you have a backup plan if you didn't make it as a footballer?" She was desperate for me to ask that question, so I'll ask it.
I actually don't think I did. I think, I've always wanted
working
to be
in Wi-Fi, wasn't it? Getting
no, definitely want that. I think, I've always wanted to be a footballer, so I never really, thought of it being anything else. But, I think if I was going to be anything, it'd be like something to do with sports, like a gym instructor or a PE teacher or something like that.
Brilliant, good. So you don't have that mindset, do you? When you're at your mindset's fully focused on, I'm making it here, no one's getting in my way. So it's a tough question to answer that. I'd imagine.
Definitely, yeah.
What's your favourite pair of boots you've played in? That's Mason Grant. Someone said flip-flops. No, I'm only joking.
I'd probably say I've got a pair of old school Predators that, I used to wear last
season. The Beckham
season.
ones.
Yeah, the champagne ones, yeah.
Alioski's just said, "Driving and you're live on Insta with a raging face."
No, I'm not driving. I'm in the passenger.
No, exactly. Tell him that. They're all trying to jump on you here, aren't they? Nearly done, mate. Don't worry. So Ronaldo Vieira, was he one of your teammates in the youth team? So someone's asked a question here. Was you gutted when he left?
Yeah, I was devastated, to be fair. We'd come up through. Obviously, I was there when Ronaldo were coming up through, the 18s and the 23s. And he came. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, he just took the
yeah.
He just took the team by storm. I just think, for such a young kid to be able to play as well as he did when he was here, it was massive for us. And obviously, you opened your eyes and you thought, we've got a very good young player. And I was absolutely gutted when he left, but I still keep in touch with him. I still talk to him on a day-to-day basis.
Is he someone you think that could fit into your team now as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think he'd be, if it won, I honestly believe if he'd have stayed here, then I wouldn't have played as many games as what I have.
Right. So you're actually quite happy that your mate moved on.
I am a little bit happy because
listen, that's the game. That's
yeah,
the game.
That's what I mean.
It's dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, there's just a couple more coming through, and then we'll leave you be, get your rest and recuperation in. So, what about players coming through from the youth team at the minute? Who stands out for you?
We've got quite a few. We've got some really good young players. We've got Leif Davis. He's a great player. He's a left back.
Yeah.
Who's really quick. We've got Jordan Stevens, who's made a few appearances here and there as well. We've got a few younger lads called Niall Higgins.
Yeah.
And Alfie McCalmont.
Right.
They're really good young players as well. So I think they'll be in the team in the next year or so, definitely.
There you go. Heard it here first. Last little bit. So making that documentary then, the Prime doc. How was that?
It was weird, to be fair. Obviously, I was involved in the first season quite a lot.
Yeah.
But it was just natural. Like, I just literally, Jay Mooney had asked if, the cameras could come round to the house and video a few things, and I'm just easy going. I was just like, yeah, it's fine. But to be fair, at first it was quite weird, but then after that, you kind of got used to it, and you didn't really notice it was there.
I mean, you came across as a family as well, really down to earth, and Leeds through and through. But no matter what happens, I think you certainly seem like a family that is always approachable and take the kind of good and the bad as it comes, really. And I think it came across certainly with all the players as well. I think what you've probably got now is a squad that is going to fight for each other. And I think when you look at good teams, the characteristics of each individual make great teams. And make good squads as well. And I mean, is that something that you feel you have in the dressing room at the minute, that you're speaking about not having to dig someone out and say pull your finger out, or is that because of the characteristics that you expect more of yourself and
Yeah, definitely. I think like you were saying, we've got a group of players in the change room that they're very good people as well as players, and they understand that if you make a mistake, you don't mean it, but they've got to be the ones to tell you, because if you don't learn from your mistakes, then you're going to make them again. I think as a team, I've never been as close to anybody. I think you've got quite a few players in there that could pass off as being they've been my friends for life, and I think the team in general, just the players we've got around it, and just the opportunity we've got, I think it's brought us together even more. And we understand that we've got to respect each other, and we've got to fight together to get to what we need to do. And I think that's what we understand the most.
Great stuff. So just last couple to finish then. Leeds centenary year, scoring the goal. Tell you what, you've done it all already. At what age are you? 27. Scoring the centenary goal, how did that feel? Obviously, for those watching at home.
Yeah, it was mad. Obviously, you've seen, the celebrations and that. But during the game and after the game, I didn't really think, it was a big thing. But then I had so many people messaging me saying, "Can't believe you've scored in, the 100th year game." And I was just thinking, is it really that big a deal? And then when you think about it, it's actually crazy that, someone from Leeds, Leeds lad, born and bred, scores the only goal to win the game. And, you couldn't put it in writing, you couldn't put it in words. So, obviously I'm very happy with it, and it'll be a moment that, will stick with me forever.
Yeah, no, superb. Well, we'll start wrapping it up, mate. I think you've been outstanding. I think all the Forza Football Academy kids will really appreciate this, because we've got a lot of Leeds fans as well. So hope you can bob down one day and give him high five and show me
Yeah,
some
no
tricks
worries.
one time.
Yeah, well, I don't know about tricks. I might show him a tackle. No tricks.
We'll just sing one somewhere, and then just walk off. That'll be good enough, won't it? But listen, I'm certainly someone who'll be, rooting for you, and I hope you can make it and get into the Premier League. In the safe environment as well. But I think you're someone, mate. I think you've got a very, very bright future. Keep your feet on the ground, and I've no doubt about it. You'll be in the Premier League. But I really, really appreciate your time. And I think everyone at home, hit that heart button if you've enjoyed it. I think it's been fantastic. He's got a gym coming in his own house, so expect a hench Kalvin Phillips next season as well. And he'll be flying. But listen, mate, thank you very, very much for your time. And I hope you can do it and get up, and I'll keep in touch with you.
No worries. Thanks a lot, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers for having us. Cheers.
See ya.